Hello everyone and welcome back to Farming Simulator 19. You're watching JCTV playing on the Xbox One console. This is Stranded in the Pacific Northwest, episode number 17. Before we get started today, folks, I'd like to introduce you to the newest member of our farming team. This beautiful Claas Platinum Edition tractor with front-loading attachment and a manure scoop. We're going to be using the manure scoop for the silage today, but this is a dandy looking tractor. If you don't have the Claas Platinum Edition DLC yet, I strongly advise you do it. There are some fantastic machinery there. All right, so our massive field of soybeans is ready for harvest. We will be setting both workers in the harvesters to work on that later on. But first, what we're going to be doing is we've amassed enough money to purchase these two fields. So first things first, what we're going to do is before we buy field 29 and 30, we're actually going to, let me see here, we're going to be doing some silage. We've got silage on the docket today. So we are going to open up this silo because our silage is fermented at 100%. So we're going to open this up, and it's only going to open up a part of the way. We've got to use the tractor and the manure scoop to open up the rest of the silage. Then we will be using conveyor belts to load it into the tipper while we purchase and plow those other two fields on the other side, commencing phase 2 of the super farm, making our fields a little bit bigger. So we just have to cut into this a little bit, and then the rest of the plastic will come off of the silage. Let's drive up a little further and do the rest of it. So that way, once we place our conveyor belt at the beginning or at the end of the silage bunker, it will just automatically pick everything up no matter where the belt is located, making our lives a whole lot easier rather than scooping up 251,000 liters of silage, which would take forever with this manure scoop, or the silage scoop, whatever you want to call it. We're going to use the conveyor belts you can see off to the right of the silage bunker there. This is a super easy way to get all your silage into a trailer. So if you don't do this already, I strongly advise that you do it this way instead of using the scoop or a telehandler, or you can just get inside the conveyor belt here and drive it to wherever you need to drive it. All right, so these belts don't actually go that fast. You can see a whopping 3 miles an hour, so I strongly advise putting them close to wherever you need them so that you don't have to drive them very far. The last thing you want to do is drive a conveyor belt clear across the map, and 19 days later you're arriving at your destination. So we're just going to move this into position. I think we need to unfold the belt first. Make it a little bit easier to drive. There we go. Perfect. Sort of center it right in the middle of the silage bunker. Pick up that little bit of grass too. And then we'll turn the belt on, and you can see the silage automatically starts filling up onto the belt. So then we'll get our larger belt, the extendo belt, and then we'll park that end underneath the smaller belt, and then raise up the boom, and then drive the semi-truck right underneath it. And then we can just leave it, and it'll fill up all on its own. We don't need to do anything. Ideally, while I was filming this, I realized that we made a sort of a mistake putting the silage bunker here. We should have just purchased the biogas plant and put the silage over there. We will be tackling that at some point in the video. Once all the silage is out of here and into the truck and sold, we're going to get rid of this silage bunker and use this space for something else, maybe animals or something a little more useful. It's not very time management wise to have the silage bunker over here when we have to drive it all the way to the biogas plant anyway, and there are actually 4 silage bays over at the biogas plant. So I think we made a wrong move. I'll admit it now. hindsight being 2020, we made a big mistake putting the silage bunker there. So we're just going to sell it once all the silage is collected, and then we will move the silage operation over to the biogas plant and just truck our grass over there. And that way we can rig up conveyor belts to just sell directly to the biogas plant instead of loading it into a truck and trucking it over there and emptying it out. It's just easier to use the belt to drop it off right at the silage sell point rather than do this every time you want to make silage. So there you go. You can see the belt is automatically emptying into the tipper. So now we can actually leave this and go and do something else and just come back and check on it later. And when it's full, we'll just truck it on over and then come back. So you can see as long as you place the belt somewhere inside the silage bunker, it will automatically collect the silage for you. As I said previously, if you don't already do silage this way, I strongly recommend it. The belts do cost a few $1,000s, but at the end of the day, it's going to save you a lot of time. So now we are going to jump in this tractor here, and we're going to attach the plow that we love to use, the foldable 4-meter or 6-meter plow, and we're going to drive across the bridge over to the satellite farm operations center, phase number 2 in the creation of this super farm. And we'll purchase those 2 fields and we'll merge them together and then possibly harvest all the crops that are in there already. I think they're ready to be harvested. One is corn and one is soybeans, I believe, and they're relatively small fields, so it shouldn't take that long. And then once those 2 small fields are done, we will bring the harvesters back across the bridge and then start the mass soybean harvest that is behind us. All right, starting phase number 2. So our goal with Pacific Northwest, if you're just joining us and you haven't watched any previous episodes, I do strongly advise you go back and watch episodes 1 through 16 just to see how we got to where we are today. And then you'll see what our vision is. We want 3 farms. So we have this farm here with this big field. We have this other big farm that we're creating on this side of the map. And then we're going to have another big farm up on top of the mountain, servicing all of the fields up on top of the hill. Because once we merge all of these together, we'll have 2 ginormous fields down here and then a bunch of little fields up on top. And there's more spots to put animals up there. There's a whole bunch of more stuff up there that we haven't even ventured up to inspect yet. But that will come later on in upcoming episodes. For now, we're going to tackle this section over here. So we've got soybeans growing that we just passed, and we've got corn here that's almost ready to harvest. They're not quite ready to harvest yet. So what we're going to do is we'll join these fields together once we purchase them, and we'll cut into these crops just a little bit around the edges, and then we'll make everything all nice and neat. Let's go and have a look at the map here. So we've got $689,000. Field number 30 is only $199, so we'll buy that. Let's purchase that. There we go. And then field number 29 is $247,000, so we will buy that as well. And then the next phase of our plan, field 33, 35, 32, and 34, merged into one ginormous field. So we don't quite have enough. That one is $876,000. That's $1.4 million. $652,000 in this small field's $371,000. I haven't quite figured out what we're going to do with those forested areas yet. Maybe we'll take up forestry. Who knows? Foresting, I was going to call it. Maybe we'll take up forestry at some point. Who knows? All right, let's start cutting into this here. I think we're going to start with the corn side of things because that field is a little larger than this one. So we'll merge them together like this. If you don't create your own fields, then this would be a good tutorial for you. All you have to do is get any workable plow, switch the plow to allow create fields, just like that, and then drop the plow, and then drive. And then you're creating fields. You can pretty much drive over anything and make a field. So we're going to go right to the end of this to make it nice and square. It doesn't have to be perfect right now because we aren't going to plant any crops here until we actually merge everything together. It doesn't make sense to drive the cedar back and forth across the bridge. Seeing as how it's so super huge, it barely fits across the bridge anyway. We'll just we'll pull together enough funds to have the same equipment over here as we do over there, so that we don't have to drive it back and forth. So already we're looking at having 4 harvesters, 2 seeders, 2 seed carts, and a whole bunch of other equipment. I think another fertilizer spreader as well would be good. All right, coming up to the edge. We don't want to go right to the edge, and then we'll lift up the plow, and then we will join this corner here. As I said, it doesn't need to be perfect because we're still going to join those other fields. Just kind of giving you an idea of how to create your own fields, how things take shape in this game. Again, I'll say it again, that's one thing I love about FS19 and the Farming Simulator series is the ability to make the game your own. You don't have to play it as it sits. You'll never get bored. You can always create fields. If you want to create round fields, create round ones. If you want to create rectangles, create rectangles. If you want to create a 10-sided dodecahedron-sized field, then go right ahead. All the power to you. Carve your name in some fields and plant crops that way. Who cares? You can make the game whatever you want it to be, which is fantastic. All right, so we are joining fields together, and then we will harvest those crops that are over there in those other 2 fields. All right. All right, so you get the idea. Plowing is a little boring. Why don't we just skip ahead a little bit? All right, that was fun, and the plowing is now complete. Fields are merged together. We did manage to save a few of these crops, so when they are ready to harvest, we can harvest those. Now we're just going to bring the plow back, and we'll park the plow over here, seeing as how we're going to be needing it over here for the foreseeable future while we merge all of these fields together. And then we don't have to keep driving it back over the bridge. This will be the first piece of equipment that is permanently housed over here. So we're actually going to set the worker to plow the rest of this field before we put it back. We're just going to switch back to allow fields, and then we're just going to let the worker take care of this part while we go and do other things. You can see our silage bin is full now, so we can actually take this over to the biogas plant and sell the silage. I didn't actually notice this, and I'll point it out to you, but the biogas plant actually has like a daily limit of silage that they can collect. It won't take all 79,000 liters like we have in our trailer. You actually have to, you can either speed up time, or you can just sit and wait for the silage counter to go back up. When it's full, it's full. It just stops buying your silage. So you'll see here that we do have to speed up time a little bit in order to empty out the contents of the trailer in its entirety, because the silage, there's a silage limiter, I guess, yeah, you want to call it. It actually stops buying it while you're selling it. So even though we own it, it has a capacity. All right, let's take the long way to start here. Maybe we'll take the short way back. Let's just maneuver around these light posts, and then we'll go under the bridge to the biogas plant. We could have just went straight across our fields, but there's a nice scenic tour of the Pacific Northwest. All right, on our way to the biogas plant. All right, and past the train station mill where we sell a lot of our crops. That's probably where the majority of our soybeans are going to be sold again this time, because all of the shops up on top of the mountain are paying the most for soybeans. It's probably because they don't want to truck all the way down the mountain to get it themselves. They'll just pay more to get it up there. All right, the worker is plowing. That's good. The biogas plant is just up here past our farm operations center, the satellite office. This is going to be one massive field when it's complete. Can't wait. All right. And the gate's not opening. What is going on? No gate. Come on, gate. Open up. What's happening here? You can see the 4 silage bays there. Why is this not... Oh, I have to buy the silage. I have to buy the biogas plant first. 391,000, and we have 247. Well, that's going to pose a problem. So, I think, let's see, can we get in this way? Oh, yep, okay, so there's an entrance and an exit. I'm guessing that's the exit. All right, let's figure out where to sell the silage here. Where to dump the silage? I think it should be right here. This little spot right there. I think that should be the silage sell point. No, there's no trigger. What's happening here? Is it over here? Nope. Let's just drive around the silage bunkers and figure this out. All right. What is going on here? This is... Okay, that is the exit. That's good to know. Entrance and exit. There's nothing back here. How do I offload 79,000 liters of silage? I'm going to get the truck stuck. I think, oh, you know what? Pardon my language, but I'm a dumbass. We gotta buy this. We gotta buy the biogas plant before the silage trigger comes open. That's right. All right, so it's 391 and we have not enough money. Let's go to the bank. Let's just start borrowing money because we have no choice with a truck full of silage. Hopefully we'll make it back with our soybean crop. All right, that should be enough. Let's buy this stupid biogas plant. All right, and survey says, hey, silage trigger. Look at that. All right, so now we're down to $31,000. Let's sell some silage. Just wait for the truck to open up. Okay. And there it's at its limit. So now we can just keep hitting the button and selling a few thousand at a time. Or we could probably speed up time and rush the limiter. Yeah, so we'll speed up time. And then we will sell some more silage until this is empty. Oh, Lord. Just keep hitting the button. This is quite annoying. I'm not sure why there's a silage or a Yeah, silage limiter on the stupid biogas plant. Just take the silage. End my misery. There we go. All right, let's drive the truck out of the exit, back across the bridge, and we'll fill up the silage one more time, or a few more times actually. Okay, now that that ordeal is over, mental note, must purchase biogas plant on every single map before making silage, or before selling it anyway. Okay, Scenic Drive, it's a lovely speedboat. Oh yeah, okay, we're going to take the long way. A long way back to the farm. All right, so what I think we'll do now is we will flip on the time-lapse switch. We will finish the silage. We've got to bring the rest of the silage equipment over to the biogas plant. Then we've got to drive a harvester over here across the bridge to harvest these crops that are now ready to harvest. Once the silage is done, with all the speeding up time, it has now allotted us a chance to harvest those crops that we're not ready to harvest before. And then we've got to harvest this big field over here. So we'll check back with you in a little bit. Enjoy the time-lapse music while we get this done. Thanks, guys. All right, so that is now complete. Those two small fields are done, and the small amount of soybeans is now in our field. So we've got the two workers set to go here. We're going to skip ahead a little bit to the end of the harvest, because let's face it, we've all seen that. And here we are at the end of the massive harvest of all of those soybeans. This is the last harvester full of soybeans that is going into the tipper. We've already brought all of the soybeans over to the train station mill because the agro wholesale, I think it is, up on the mountain is the one paying the most for the soybeans. So we'll load up the soybean train. I think I can't remember the whole amount of the liters of the soybeans that we have, but it's a lot. We'll see once we get to the train. Let's just get the last little bit of the soybeans here. All right, just this last couple of patches. I know it doesn't really make much of a difference, but I don't like to leave any crops unharvested. I like to make sure we get it all. All right, so there's one little patch right here. Scoop, and then we're done. All right, so we will load up the trailer one last time, drive it over to the train station mill, and then we'll load up the Soybean Express up on the mountain, and then we'll sell all of our soybeans. Loading the soybeans into the trailer. All right, and we're done. So we will pack up the harvester, bring it back to the farm, and then we will switch back to the tipper and then drive the truck over to the train station mill, dump the rest of this stuff in the silo, and all aboard the Soybean Express. All right. You know, in real time, that actually didn't take that long. I don't know if it's getting quicker and quicker, but this is a medium-sized super field. I can't wait to see how long it'll take to harvest that field across the way, because, wow, that's going to be a huge field once we get it done. Hopefully we can get a lot of farming done off camera, so that way the next couple episodes are just building that super field into one big massive structure. I'd like to tackle that in the next couple of episodes so that we don't waste another 17 episodes building this operation here. I'd like to get up on the mountain. There's lots of farms up there that I'd like to get my hands on. All right, header is parked. Harvester is next. Just fit you in here. All right. And the tipper. There's the tipper. Lizard Hulk. One last trip across the bridge to the train station mill, and we'll offload all of these soybeans. All right. Takes a bit for the truck to get going with all these soybeans in the back here. All right, where's the gate? Right up here by the church. There it is. Get some good speed going, because we lose some speed going up this hill to the bridge here. There we go. Perfect. We are almost there, folks. Almost there. And shortcut, we can cut across our newly plowed fields here. Harvested and plowed. All right. Yeah, these are going to be some massive, this is going to be a massive field. Maybe we could probably have 3 or 4 harvesters working this field. We can just start one in every corner. Wouldn't that be something? 4 harvesters running at the same time. All right, let's get in here. All right, offload of the soybeans. Last trip. There we go. All right. Oh, and perfect timing. The train is just coming into the station for the train station mill. All right. Oh, too far. We've got to back up a little bit. Let's figure this out. How much soybeans can we fit into this train? Yeah, we're going to agro wholesales. Okay. Good enough. 297,000 pounds. 297,000 liters of soybeans. All right. First load. Waiting for the soybeans to fill up the train. All right, 90,000. And the next car. We're up to $137,000 in our bank now that we sold that unneeded silage bunker that we had over at our farm. Maybe we can put something else there. Animals, maybe. Horses, who knows. We'll figure it out. All right. All right, 75% for the first two cars. We've got one more car after that we can put soybeans in. Hopefully it all fits. So we had 297,000 pounds of soybeans, or liters. And these two cars are just about at capacity. $210,000. All right, so we got 80,000 liters left to go, 87,000 liters left to go. So we should be able to fit it into this rear car here, and then it will be all done. All right, let's cross our fingers, folks. Hope all the soybeans fit into this last container car. I'd hate to have to come back down for a little bit of soybeans. Oh, 88, 89%, 90. Is it all going to fit? It's going to be close. It's going to be close, folks. Oh, I think we're going to do it. We did it. 99% full. So now we know the limit for the soybean train is 300,000 liters. All right, let's truck on up to the agro wholesales. Selling point is just at the top of the hill. It's the first stop. And then we'll start offloading the soybeans and collect our moolah. I'm anxious to see just how much money we come away with here. So we are at $137,000. Just around this corner right here. We'll start slowing down now. This is agro wholesales. Just need to center ourselves over the trigger for this first car. Here we go. And now we can start selling. And here we're off to the races. Sure glad that it drains faster than it fills. All right, 237, there's 100 grand. $122,000 for that cart. And the next car Looking pretty good. All right. Gonna pass 337. That's $200,000. $424, almost $400,000 just from the first two carts. And the last one, gonna have to zoom out here quite a bit to fit the trigger into the frame. Here we go. Last cart, 87,000 liters of soybeans going in. So there, we passed 437. So that is $300,000. See if we can get to 537. There we go, 537. So $400,000. 537 to, okay, yeah. So just over $400,000 for our soybeans. That is fantastic. That is going to wrap up this episode, folks, while we drive the tipper back to the farm. Why don't you take a minute for me and click that subscribe button in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Like and share this video, and as well, ring that notification bell for me so you can be alerted every time we upload new content. For now, this is JCTV saying, see you later.